Hey everyone, in SketchUp Part 3, I'm going to be going over how to move shapes, copy shapes, make geometries into groups, and making geometries into components, and the differences between groups and components itself. So, let's get started. So I'm back in this tutorial file here that we showed last video, and what I'm going to do is start going over the way we move shapes around. So one way to do this is triple click any shape. We can select the move tool and start moving around in any direction, or we can lock it to a specific direction using the axis keys. So again, the left arrow key will lock it to the green, right arrow key will lock it to the red, and the up arrow key will lock it to the blue axis or the up and down directions. And again, if I wanted to move a single geometry, like a line or a face, I'll select the move tool and I can move a single edge and transform the shape, or I can select a face and move it around like this as well. But what would you do if you wanted to move a face around without transforming the entire shape? This is where groups come in, and this is where I'm going to start talking about the importance of grouped geometry. So what I mean by a group is multiple geometries grouped together, similar to a block in AutoCAD. So what we can do is double click this face, which will select the face and all of its surrounding edges. Right click on it and hit make group. What you'll notice is that it will group it together in one plane. So what this group will do will essentially unassociate this grouped shape with the rest of our geometry. So what we can do is we can move this group out and it will not transform the rest of the shape. Another use for groups is simply having a better organizational grouping for your model. So instead of having all these individual geometries being able to be selected, what we could do is select all of it and group it, and then we can move it around without having to select each individual geometry. So let's say I wanted to edit this group. All I need to do is get my selection tool and double click that group. And what it'll do is allow me to edit everything inside of the group without being able to edit anything outside of the group. On larger scale design models, it's important to model everything within groups, as it allows you to create a hierarchy and general cleanliness of your model, which will make it easier to run on other computers and make your model seem better constructed overall. The next thing I want to do is talk about copying groups. So let's say I wanted to copy this group multiple times along a path. So if I select my movement tool, if I hold Control at the bottom left of the keyboard, you'll notice my keyboard inputs. If I hold Control and select it, we can actually copy a group. And let's say I copy it from here to here, and down in this box, if I type // let's say 5, it will create 5 equal copies between the first and last copied group, and it will space them out equally. This function can really come in handy in landscape architecture design projects when you're possibly copying trees along a path for a tree alley, or maybe if you're trying to space seating benches along a path with an equal distance. You can also copy groups by simply selecting a group and hitting the shortcut Control-C and Control-V. So that's some of the importances of groups, but there is also something else in SketchUp called components. So if we click this group here and hit Make Component, we can name this Abstract Shape 1. And that will make it into a component, and it will be listed in our components tray. So let's say we copy this component a couple times. Let's say we copy it 3 times along a line. So I'm going to type /3. It will create some copies equally spaced out. If I double click in the component and draw a face up, extrude this face, you'll notice that it will do the exact same thing and copy the adjustments onto all the other components. This is really useful when you have a element such as maybe it's a lighting pole and you have it copied throughout your design, you know, maybe 100 times. Maybe you want to go inside that light and change it. If you change it once, it will also apply those changes to every single light pole in that component group along your entire design. So this covers some of the more basic drafting tools that SketchUp has to offer. There are a couple more tools that SketchUp has, but for now, try some of these out and go through and just kind of explore what these tools can do on your own. In some of the following videos, I will be creating a study model, and I will be using this to show you guys some of the typical ways that landscape architects use SketchUp, and this will also be a way for me to show you some of the rest of the tools that SketchUp has to offer. This includes things like drawing aids, drawing tools, modification tools, extensions, importing CAD files, a little bit more on groups and components, colors, materials, shadows, styles, what the 3D warehouse is used for, and a little bit about layer management. All right, so that wraps up SketchUp Part 3, where we looked at movement, copy, groups, and components. So again, in the following videos, I'm going to be showing you how we use all of these tools combined in a real landscape architecture study model. And I look forward to hearing back from you guys. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Thanks, guys.